Bill Spencer, a guy recognized for his dominating presence and unwavering resolve, is at a crossroads that tests his emotions and his ideals. The decision to forgive Grace, a lady whose acts have sparked both adoration and outrage, contrasts with his terrible determination to end Reese's life, marking a watershed moment in the story. This evolving drama is rooted in the raw emotions, convoluted history, and moral complexity that have long defined the program, drawing viewers into a heartbreaking and surprising story. Bill's effort to forgive Grace exemplifies the complexities of his personality. For weeks, tensions had simmered between them, stemming from a betrayal that shattered Bill's trust. Grace, with her acute mind and shameless ambition, had crossed a boundary, jeopardizing the Spencer empire's stability, as well as the relationships that held their circle together. However, when the truth emerged, it became evident that Grace's decisions were motivated by desperation, a desire to protect individuals she cared about, even if it meant compromising her own position in Bill's eyes. Her fragility, revealed in a heartbreaking confrontation, pierced Bill's tough facade. He saw in her a reflection of his own difficulties, a shared knowledge of how far one would go for family. Forgiveness was not immediate. It was a gradual, deliberate process characterized by furious clashes and quiet moments of thought. Bill's decision to let go of his anger was not a show of weakness, but rather a recognition of Grace's humanity, a choice to choose their common history over the scars of the present. This gesture of mercy, however, stands in stark contrast to the darkness that now surrounds Bill's intentions toward Reese. Reese, whose charm and cunning have long made him a divisive figure, has passed a boundary that Bill considers unacceptable. The specifics of Reese's crime are unknown, but the impact is undeniable. A betrayal so profound that it has sparked a rage in Bill that few have seen. Reese's actions, whether motivated by greed, vengeance, or a false sense of loyalty, have shattered the delicate relationship he once shared with Bill. The choice to end Reese's life is a figurative cutting of ties, a premeditated act to remove Reese from the environment Bill has so carefully created. It is a decision that reflects Bill's insatiable desire for control and his refusal to allow threats to fester in the shadows. However, this resolution comes at a cost, as it requires Bill to confront the darker aspects of his own nature, which he has long avoided. Bill, Grace, and Reese's decisions have far-reaching consequences, affecting everyone in their path. For Grace, Bill's forgiveness is a lifeline, an opportunity to repair what was nearly lost. She navigates the aftermath with guarded hope, knowing that once lost, trust is difficult to regain. Her encounters with Bill are tinged with newfound respect, but also with apprehension, as she struggles with the weight of his mercy. Grace's closest supporters and confidants react with a combination of relief and cynicism when they learn of Bill's forgiveness. Some see it as a watershed moment, an opportunity for reconciliation, while others doubt whether Bill's intentions are as pure as they appear. The dynamics of the Forrester and Logan families, which were already tense, change when allegiances are tested and secrets are revealed. Grace's hard-earned forgiveness sparks new alliances and unforeseen rivalries, as others around her reconsider their own allegiance. However, Reese's destiny throws a terrible shadow over the story. His impending demise, arranged by Bill's unwavering hand, sends shockwaves across the neighborhood. Friends and rivals alike must face the ramifications of Reese's actions, as well as the frightening finality of Bill's decision. Some see Reese's demise, whether it is his social position, influence, or place in their world, as a just retribution, a required reckoning for a man who has played fast and loose with the lives of others. Others see it as a tragedy, a warning of the fragility of power and the consequences of crossing a man like Bill. The conflict between these viewpoints sparks intense conversations as characters wrestle with issues of justice, loyalty, and the cost of forgiveness. Reese, ever the survivor, does not go gently. His reaction to Bill's choice is a mix of defiance and desperation, as he tries to preserve what little power he still has. His efforts, however, only exacerbate the gap, forming battle lines that threaten to sever the frail links that hold their world together. At the center of this drama is Bill Spencer, a man whose paradoxes make him both captivating and perplexing. His capacity for forgiveness, as evidenced by his reconciliation with Grace, indicates a level of compassion that few equate with the ruthless tycoon. However, his willingness to kick Reese out, to cut ties with a man he once considered a friend, reveals a colder, more calculated side. Bill's character is defined by these dualities, which make him both loved and feared. His judgments are not taken lightly. They are the result of sleepless nights and persistent contemplation, as he evaluates the consequences of his actions against the desire to protect those he cares about. For Bill, the decision to forgive Grace while condemning Reese is not a contradiction, but rather a reflection of his complicated moral code, a code that values loyalty above all else yet demands vengeance when that commitment is violated. The interactions between these characters, Bill's imposing presence, Grace's redemption, and Reese's fall, form a narrative tapestry rich in passion and mystery. The plot develops against the backdrop of the glamorous but cutthroat world of fashion, where power conflicts and personal betrayals are as regular as the latest catwalk designs. The stakes are tremendous, not only for the people involved, but also for the families and empires they represent. The Forrester family, with a history of innovation and ambition, is drawn into the struggle as old scars are rekindled and new alliances are formed. The Logan family, ever resilient, navigates the aftermath with a mix of pragmatism and emotion, their loyalties tested by the shifting dynamics. Even the minor characters, friends, lovers, and rivals, are affected by Bill's decisions since their storylines are intertwined with the broader plot. As the drama progresses, the audience is left to consider the larger questions at the heart of the play. What does it mean to forgive, and when does forgiveness become a liability? Is it justice to take someone out of your life? Or does it just continue a cycle of pain? These questions are relevant not only in the fictional world of the bold and the beautiful, but also in the lives of the viewers, who see their own challenges reflected in the characters' decisions. The narrative's strength stems from its ability to mix the high drama of soap opera storytelling with universal themes of love, betrayal, and redemption. Each episode builds on the previous one, forming a complicated web of relationships that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. Bill's decisions will have far-reaching consequences for the show's future. For Grace, the journey to salvation is far from over. She must strike a careful balance between gratitude and independence, showing to Bill and herself that she deserves the second chance she has been given. Her path is one of self-discovery, as she confronts the decisions that have brought her to this point, and strives to redefine her place in a world that is quick to criticize. Reese's path forward is uncertain. His downfall, however planned by Bill, is not the conclusion of his journey, but rather a new chapter, one with the possibility of redemption or greater destruction. His resilience, along with his survival instincts, assures that his presence will remain prominent, even while he faces the repercussions of his deeds. Bill, too, must face the repercussions of his choices. His forgiveness of Grace has strengthened their bond, but it has also revealed flaws that his adversaries are eager to exploit. His choice to terminate Reese's influence, while definitive, has made him a target for those loyal to Reese, who are plotting vengeance. The gravity of these judgments is evident in Bill's calmer times, when the bravado disappears and the cost of his actions becomes apparent. Nonetheless, he remains steadfast, inspired by the conviction that his difficult decisions are required to defend the empire he has established and the people he cares about. As the plot progresses, the distinction between hero and villain blurs, forcing viewers to wonder where their allegiance lies. Is Bill a defender, willing to make difficult decisions for the greater good, or a tyrant who uses his position to settle personal grievances? Is Grace a redeemed soul deserving of forgiveness, or a liability whose previous faults will undoubtedly resurface? And what of Reese? Can a guy who has lost everything find a way to restore his position, or is he doomed to remain a cautionary tale? These unsolved issues drive the curiosity for what comes next as the bold and the beautiful continues to weave its fascinating story of love, power, and betrayal. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for August 11th to 15th hint that Grace Buckingham will face her penalty. John Finnegan will also have some troubling news for Steffy Forrester, while Taylor Hayes will have some difficulties in the future. First, B&B viewers will witness the repercussions of Grace's revelation to Liam Spencer and Hope Logan. You can bet Hope and Liam will be furious at Grace's bogus brain cancer swindle, and all the terror she has instilled. Grace had her back against the wall because of all the threats she was facing, but she still managed to pull off some pretty horrible lies. Finn is sure to phone Steffy at some point to keep her up to date on Grace's horrific falsehoods. Even if the phone conversation occurs off-screen, Steffi deserves to know that Liam was never truly terminally ill. Bill Spencer will undoubtedly become enraged when he realizes Grace duped him with this $1 million scheme. Katie Logan appears to be aware of Grace's behavior, so she should provide Bill with some support in the following episodes. Will Grace lose her medical license as a result of all this? Could Grace be headed to prison? Or will she face a different fate in the future episodes? Meanwhile, Daphne Rose will resume stirring the pot for Hope Logan and Carter Walton. Because Hope will be distracted by all of the Grace commotion, Daphne may have an opportunity to draw Carter Walton in and possibly make another play on him. Brooke Logan will recover from a brief hospital stay and return home without Nick Marone after her water slide in Italy. Of course, Brooke should be attached to Ridge Forrester like glue following his rescue mission. Ridge's understanding that Brooke is still his destiny will be devastating for Taylor. The countdown is underway for Taylor's tough blow, which will ultimately mean the end of her engagement and a cancelled wedding. According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, the week of August 11th to 15th will be full of surprises and setbacks, so stick with the CBS soap. Grace Buckingham's life is about to change forever, and not for the better. The fallout from her false brain cancer hoax will dominate the following week on The Bold and the Beautiful, and the consequences will be far-reaching and severe. After all, Grace's deception extended far beyond a simple lie. She pretended to have a terminal disease, manipulated emotions, and placed entire relationships on strain, all in the name of self-preservation. But in the world of the Forresters and Logans, the truth is always revealed, and Grace will now be forced to confront it head-on. Grace eventually confessed everything to Hope Logan and Liam Spencer. Her disclosure enraged them even more than it surprised them. Hope, a heroine recognized for her sensitivity and emotional core, could scarcely contain her outrage at being manipulated. Liam, who had started emotionally preparing himself for what he thought would be his final days, was similarly enraged. Grace's lies were not only manipulative, but also cruel. The dread, the tears, the sleepless nights were all fabricated, the result of a desperate plot constructed on lies. Grace may have been cornered. Yes, she was intimidated and she saw no other option, but that does not excuse what she did. It was a form of emotional coercion that had far-reaching consequences, and no one in this group is willing to let it go easily. John Finnegan will likewise be caught up in Grace's deception. He'll most likely contact Steffi Forrester to let her know the truth. Steffi, who has always kept a careful check on Liam even during their downtime, will be surprised to learn that he was never actually ill. She may not love Liam as much as she once did, but she still cares about him, and she would never wish terminal disease on him. This discovery will incite a new wave of rage in Steffi, and depending on how things play out, she may end up leading the push to hold Grace legally and morally accountable. Finn's call to Steffi, whether on or off-screen, will be a watershed moment. It ties Grace's web of falsehoods back to the Forrester clan, which does not tolerate manipulation well. And if Finn provides this update while holding Steffi close, it may help strengthen their bond. After all, witnessing someone you care about in pain, such as Steffi reacting to the falsehood about Liam's condition, can draw individuals closer together. However, the actual plot is the aftermath of Grace's scheme. Bill Spencer is another character who will take this treachery seriously. He's a man known for his explosive temper and profound pride, and the prospect of someone using a bogus illness to defraud him of $1 million will enrage him. Bill has been burned before, but not in such a humiliating way. He does not only want apologies, he wants repercussions. He is likely to confront Grace, and the scene will be explosive. Bill never follows the rules, therefore the question is how far he is willing to go for vengeance. Katie Logan will also be drawn into the turmoil, particularly after learning of Grace's deception. Katie frequently plays the role of peacemaker, but she will not tolerate dishonesty that harms others she cares about. She is connected to Bill, and seeing him harmed will activate her protective instincts. Katie may find herself siding with Hope and Liam in their pursuit of justice, becoming another voice demanding that Grace pay for her sins. Grace's professional consequences could be greater than her personal one. Questions may arise regarding whether she will be able to keep her medical license. Faking a diagnosis, even outside of a professional context, may be grounds for revocation. The medical board will not tolerate someone who utilized her knowledge to spread such a large untruth. Grace might be investigated, penalized, and perhaps barred from practicing entirely. That is not even taking into account the possibility of criminal prosecution. Fraud, emotional distress, and abuse of professional trust. There's more than enough here to make a legal case, and Grace could face prison before the dust settles. Meanwhile, Grace's disarray creates unexpected opportunities for other people, particularly Daphne Rose. With Hope busy with the aftermath from Grace's confession, Daphne may see an opportunity. Daphne has been following Carter Walton for a while, and with Hope distracted and emotionally weak, she may believe now is the moment to attack. Carter has always aimed to be grounded and ethical, but he is not immune to charm or love interest. If Daphne plays her cards correctly, she may strengthen her bond with Carter, and even strike a new rift between him and Hope. Hope, of course, is unlikely to give up on Carter lightly. However, she is coping with too many emotional bombs at once to fully concentrate on her own romantic stability. Hope's world is spinning with the revelation of Grace's lies, concern for Liam's well-being, and growing ambiguity about her own sentiments. She may not realize how dangerous Daphne is until it's too late. Brooke Logan is currently recovering from her recent injury in Italy. After her fall and brief hospital stay, she travels to Los Angeles without Nick Marone, which may be revealing in and of itself. Nick's absence indicates that whatever flame rekindled between him and Brooke in Italy may have vanished as swiftly as it erupted. But Brooke will not return alone. Emotionally, she will be clinging to Ridge Forrester. After all, he was the one who swooped in and rescued her, both literally and metaphorically. Brooke and Ridge have been circling each other for decades, and every time they think they're ready to move on, fate brings them back together. The motif continues here. Ridge's actions in Italy, his determination to prioritize Brooke and secure her safety, show his unwavering commitment. Brooke sees it as another proof that Ridge is the only man who will always be there for her when she needs him. However, not everyone will cheer this reunion. Taylor Hayes will be distraught, and understandably so. She poured her heart and everything into her relationship with Ridge, and she truly believed they were creating a new future together. She even agreed to marry him, believing that this time would be different. But Ridge's increased emphasis on Brooke will dash those hopes. Taylor's anguish will be both emotional and visible. Taylor will feel pushed to the sidelines as Ridge becomes closer to Brooke once more. Not just as a lover, but as someone who is beginning to aspire for a new type of family dynamic. She'll have to watch while the man she loves recommits to a woman who has broken his heart more times than anyone can remember. And while Taylor has always aimed for grace and composure, there is only so much a person can withstand before breaking. Taylor will be devastated to learn that her engagement to Ridge is over. She is losing more than just a fiancé. She is also losing the future she had envisioned for herself, the happy ending she had finally believed was possible. Taylor is tough, but she'll need to rely on her loved ones more than ever to get through the grief. As one character's falsehoods set off a chain reaction of revelations, heartbreaks, and shifting allegiances, the lives of everyone in this close-knit group will be impacted. Grace Buckingham's decision to fake a terminal illness was more than a reckless blunder. It was the spark that set off a firestorm. And now, as each individual tries to make sense of the chaos, relationships will be strained, trust will be broken, and fates will alter once more.